All right, everybody, buckle up, because this time on the deep dive, we're heading straight into the world of African tech.
And we're diving deep.
Yeah, no kidding. Forget your average app launch. This is about Texonnect, and let me tell you, it's a whole different ballgame.
It's big, really making waves.
That's what caught our attention, right? We're talking research papers, articles, even insider accounts. We're not just skimming the surface here. We're going deep on this one.
Absolutely. And believe me, it's worth it.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, listening to Texonnect. This is Texonnect Voices, and today I'm here with Blaise Bayuo. You know, we talked about the tech ecosystem being vast, soon it'll be a part of everything. And if we wish to influence it, we must first understand it. We're currently looking at 32 areas within the tech ecosystem, and today we're talking about blockchain and distributed ledger technology. This covers things like cryptocurrency and digital assets, smart contracts, decentralized finance, supply chain management, and NFT marketplaces. And like I said before, we're with Blaise Bayuo, who's an expert in this area. And we're going to touch on a few things within the next 20 to 30 minutes. So welcome, Blaise.
Thank you, Papa, and I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. So as a quick introduction to the technology, can you give us a brief overview of blockchain and distributed ledger technology and how it fundamentally works?
Yeah, thank you once again. Blockchain is a system that connects different databases that are stored across different ecosystems instead of you having everything within a centralized database. So there's a basic principle of blockchain is centralized versus decentralization, which means that the data that is stored for each transaction, so all the systems that you run are distributed across different servers or databases with different encryption, login keys, and passwords. That makes it difficult for each person to alter. It is also distributed because it can be stored across different ecosystems in different countries, which means that if you wanted to have access or make any change in any of the systems, you will literally have to go to about 10 or 20,000 different computers, have access to their passkeys and do that. And the key thing with distributed nature also is that the transactions are all transparent and stored equally across all these distributed databases, which all has some level of transparency and openness in terms of what the transactions go on, how it is done, who does what transaction, and then how best to protect that. So I'll say, in a nutshell, blockchain is fundamentally giving us a new way to store databases that brings about transparency, that brings about security, and also gives us the opportunity to track who does what on the blockchain or within the system so that we can track in terms of a security breach.
Sounds to me like this is the future. More secure, more freedom, more access. Okay, so what are the main differences between cryptocurrencies, digital assets, and the underlying blockchain technology? Because a lot of people think they're the same thing.
Yeah. Again, I'm happy you're highlighting this. There's a thin line, but there are differences between all these three systems that you mentioned. And I'll start with cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is the money that fuels the blockchain ecosystem. So it is the incentive model that blockchain projects bring to the ecosystem to incentivize users for taking actions on the blockchain, for participating actively in the blockchain, and doing work on the blockchain. So users are paid based on the cryptocurrency that is created on each blockchain and by each project. So if you do some work, you are remunerated through that cryptocurrency, and then it is a store of value then in that case for you to use in either paying for other goods or staking or doing other transactions within the blockchain economy. I would say cryptocurrency then becomes, it will say in a traditional sense, the money that you use in Ghana to go to the store to buy goods and services. Digital assets, on the other hand, is any asset that is digitalized on the blockchain. So if you digitize any asset and put it on a blockchain, say you own a car, you can decide to create a digital version of that car on the blockchain. So it is not a cryptocurrency, but you are digitizing your assets and putting it on the blockchain. So land could be a digital asset on the blockchain. commodities like cocoa could be digitized on the blockchain, and then they become an asset that is transferable, that is a store of value. But they are not cryptocurrencies, and you can use them to do payments. So the underlying principle is that cryptocurrencies has, to some larger extent, monetary or transactional values. Digital assets become assets or store of value. So cryptocurrencies then are digital assets, but not all digital assets are cryptocurrencies. So this is the underlying principle that you should know on the blockchain. You can have a cryptocurrency that you can use to do, it's a digital asset, but not all digital assets are cryptocurrencies that you can use to do payments on the blockchain economy.
Interesting. How do smart contracts work on blockchain platforms, and why are they considered revolutionary for various industries?
Right, Papa. Smart contracts help to remove the middleman or the need for a third layer in blockchain transactions. So the third-party angle of non-blockchain transactions has been known to bring about delays and also mistrust within the ecosystem. So smart contracts are pieces of code, let me be technical, that are written to execute some transactions based on agreed principles on the blockchain. There can be an agreement between you and I that if the price of gold reaches X amount, transfer this amount of money to this account. As simple as that. So the smart contract is listening to an oracle for gold data prices. And as soon as that requirement is met, triggered, you're right, trigger, the smart contract executes the action. So you don't need it to go to a third party who will look at it before making the transaction. So, and they're revolutionary because they make transactions faster. So within milliseconds, you can make a transaction to somebody based on a trigger, as you said. And it also makes it easier to do huge transactions at a go. And so you can receive payments within milliseconds, whereas some bank transactions take 2 or 3 days because they have to go through that layer, which has to be the human element verifying the transaction. So I think it is moving us to a faster way to allow machines to take some decisions on our behalf in a faster and secure way.
With trust. So what are the current challenges facing the adoption of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies globally? Because I mean, it sounds like it's good by now. We should be all over the place.
I think you're right, and I have built some blockchain solutions, and so during those times, we experienced firsthand, as I said, some of these challenges. I'll start with first is the design of blockchain solutions, and it boils down to how technical blockchain solutions are, and they scare away a lot of people. So if you're starting to use blockchain, they warn you about private keys. If you lose your private key, all your assets or your cryptocurrency is lost, right? And so if you are not tech savvy, you get scared by these kind of high-tech terminologies. And so that has been one of the challenges. The design and architecture of blockchain do scare away non-tech savvy individuals who want to just use a tech solution to solve a problem. Second also is there has been the issue of fraud around blockchain. And so there's still that hesitancy by most people to adopt blockchain and cryptocurrency technology. And also it is difficult to have the developers. We have very few blockchain developers, which is an opportunity if you are listening to us to learn blockchain smart contract development. And then you can gain access to a lot of opportunities in blockchain development. But these are some of the challenges. We have very few blockchain developers who can build solutions into that. The last one I would say is regulation. And so the stakeholders are still not sure about the direction to go with blockchain. Should we ban it totally, or should we open up to it, or should it be gradual? These are some of the challenges that we still have within our ecosystem in the sub-region regarding blockchain. A clear example is the case of Nigeria, which is always like playing different angles in terms of blockchain regulation. In one instance, they are banning blockchain, which affected my company and had to close down. In another angle, you get a press release which says, no, the government is open to blockchain, come in and do business. And also the issue with Binance has affected the enthusiasm and the interest that people had in blockchain, especially within Africa sub-region.
Interesting. So In terms of regulation, how are other governments other than Nigeria responding to blockchain and decentralized finance? And what are the implications?
Yeah, we've seen some governments, especially in, let me get my geography right, I think Central America, Venezuela, or Latin America broadly, that are very open to blockchain. And the government has come to accept Bitcoin as a legal tender in Venezuela and some of the Latin American countries. And for me, that is a way of opening up to blockchain. In other countries, governments are actually buying Bitcoin. So the US and Germany own Bitcoin wallets where they store some of the Bitcoins. And so these are some form of indication or message to the stakeholders that we support blockchain in a way. And then there are others that are also opening up in terms of central bank digital currencies on the blockchain. So Ghana, for instance, is doing an e-currency, but it is not on the blockchain, which has its pros and cons. Even though I would wish we did it on the blockchain. And so these are some of the issues. For some countries, they are moving towards blockchain stable currencies, which is encouraging. Others have also developed blockchain policies, which guide the usage and the trading in blockchain currency. So China, I know, has blockchain policy. Even Hong Kong at the time was considering that. The US recently had issues with blockchain in terms of this Security and Exchange Commission, but I think recent trends in terms of elections might change that and give some positive outlook towards blockchain.
What are some of the security concerns or risks associated with blockchain and DLT that users should be aware of?
So, a risk I would say with them is phishing, which you need to be careful. So there are so many hackers who come with tricky phishing emails, promotions. And as a blockchain user, you need to be careful to understand that this is coming from the right blockchain ecosystem or your blockchain platform before engaging in it. And a lot of stakeholders have lost money, in some cases through these bad activities that come from scammers in the system. So you can also have people giving fake airdrops or fake projects, and after you invest in it, they disappear. Second risks or security risks you would say is has to do with the ability to understand and keep your keys safe. So some people decide to put their keys on cold wallet, which means you can basically just write it on a piece of paper and put it on your bag somewhere in your room so that nobody has access to it. Some decide to have it in a pen drive that they only slot into the machine when they want to do a transaction. So these are some of the ways to overcome it, but the risk mainly has to do with the fraud and phishing activities that come with cryptocurrencies and blockchain platforms.
Let's talk about some trends, innovations, and emerging development. For example, what are some of the most exciting innovations happening in the decentralized finance space right now?
Interesting. So right now we're seeing the confluence of AI and blockchain, which is to me is very exciting. So people are beginning to build decentralized mining pools like that. Papa, you can be in Ghana and your phone will be performing AI tasks for somebody in US or in Canada, which is a new revolution that is coming up. And so over time, we can even leverage our idle computing space at home and then use it to do blockchain programming and get paid for it. So that's one exciting area that I see coming up, AI, and it's called decentralized infrastructure, which is built on blockchains like Solana, and I think that is great. The old, not old, but DeFi is still very relevant, and there are always new decentralized finance applications and innovations that are coming up within the ecosystem. In Africa, I would say the case of Bitmama, and no interest in Bitmama, but they are building a platform that seeks to offer blockchain payment cards such that you can spend directly from your cryptocurrency, which is also cool. And we continue to see the real estate, which is also digitized on the blockchain. And this is an example, back to the previous point, Papa, about the difference between cryptocurrency and digital assets. So some of the innovators are bringing fractional ownership, which is digitizing real estate on the blockchain. So you can be in Ghana and own an apartment in Rwanda. And then every day, as customers use it, you get paid in your currency here in Ghana. You own a fraction of an apartment complex. And because it is digital, it is tokenized, or created on a blockchain as a digital asset, you get your rewards daily. So these are some of the exciting areas. And I expect that in the case of Africa and Ghana, for instance, we should begin to look at digitizing or creating digital assets of commodities, of our maize, of our cocoa, of oil palm oil, of cashew, and putting them on the blockchain such that stakeholders can buy and own them to give us more money to invest in our farming sector.
Talking about trade, how are NFT marketplaces evolving and what role are they playing in the creative economy?
Very great. NFTs, there seemed to be a cool down on NFTs, I would say a year and 2 ago, and they were the hot crypto or blockchain topics. But still, there's a very great interest in terms of NFTs, especially for the creative economy. And one I can see is intellectual property, making sure that your intellectual property for your music can be put in an NFT and transferred to someone, which is very excellent. And also that royalties, you can earn that over a lifespan because it is on the blockchain. You own the creative rights or intellectual property rights, right? And and back to the point about the blockchain being good for traceability. As soon as you create a music and it is put on a blockchain, everybody in future would know that you were the originator of this idea or this innovative creative idea or music, right? Or movie. And so you can continue to earn those royalties. And if you decide to transfer it to another person, it becomes easier to sell it to another party that is interested to buy that as an NFT. And then the blockchain will show that you have transferred ownership of this digital music to another person, and then they earn the royalties out of that. So it brings originality, traceability to the creative sector, and then they get paid their due of lifetime royalties instead of a one-time system. And it also helps to curb against piracy in a way, and then can bring this kind of traceability and transparency to creators so they can earn more from their work.
Now, how do you envision the future of blockchain technology, especially in terms of its applications in everyday life and industries like supply chain management, etc.? And what role do you think blockchain will play in reshaping finance and global economies over the next 5 to 10 years?
Right. In terms of, I'll start with the supply chain. And let me backtrack to during when we had COVID, right? The supply chain industry was saturated and almost ran into a gridlock. And we saw the use of COVID-19 in tracing COVID-19 vaccine manufacturing and supply systems, fast-tracking payments. And I think during that time, somebody was able to do a transaction of about $100,000 to a partner in China, COVID-19 vaccines. This would have taken maybe a week or two for the transactions to clear. And so it also brings this faster way to transact and ease up the supply chain processes. It brings transparency in the movements and tracking of goods. So suppliers are able to know that this is where my goods are, this is the delivery and expected date. And also if you need to see the state at which your manufacturer is at in terms of producing your goods, all these are put on the blockchain and brings about transparency. And so for me, procurement is going to become better over time with blockchain and can also bring transparency in contracts. So if the government, for instance, wants to remove corruption, they can actually use blockchain for procurement processes. So everything from the tender issue to when the bids are open, everything can be done on the blockchain proper. And so when the bids are open transparently, everybody will see when each tender submitted their bids, the value, the amount, and the bid description. So it makes it difficult for you to go around the process and cheat. So I think even governments have the opportunity. And we also see NGOs using it to track and pay for deliveries of aid to some remote areas, and that has worked out well. Now, in terms of finance, my best bet would be that we may see more government adoption, trust me, Papa, of blockchain and cryptocurrency within the payment systems. And next from governments, we're also going to see much of it being used in humanitarian aid and payments. But within the mainstream financial sector, I'm also betting on government adoption, private bank adoption. For instance, the banks in Ghana may begin to use blockchain in a way to manage finances and flow of transactions across the bank. So I'll see institutional adoption of centralized finance solutions coming up in the near future. But for the consumer space, I would bet more for an integration with legacy payment systems like mobile money, which we tried some time ago, but there hasn't been much integration between blockchain and mobile money. But I think there's going to be a fusion of the two, make it much more better and impactful.
Can you share some specific examples of how blockchain is being used in industries like healthcare and digital identity management?
So digital identity, great. I'll start with that because I've done some work in digital identity. I know of a project in Zimbabwe where they are building a decentralized digital identity system for farmers, which for me is revolutionary and helping farmers build their digital records and credit records to access financing. So the company is building ID systems that connect farmers to their produce. And so with a single ID on the blockchain, they can go to the bank to access some loans. They can go to any organization for support so that they avoid duplication, such that one farmer doesn't go to different stakeholders for support and then waste the resources. So I have seen that too, and I think it is very great that blockchain and digital identity is being used to support farmers to access credit and to also sell their produce. Then for healthcare, we've seen that the use of blockchain in storing medical records. That's where we are right now, making it transparent, but also secure. And one of the issues with digitalizing medical records has been the security part of it. So we're seeing people use blockchain to create digital wallets that allow me to verify by the use of the finger, give the hospital access to my medical records. So when I go, the hospital will say, you've been to XYZ hospital and we need to access it. So they can ask for my request. The request comes through a digital wallet on my phone and I approve it. So, and blockchain is powering that. Also seeing it being used in education, attempt to create a universal student ID that follows you through your education from primary school, secondary school to the university. And even after, as you take short courses, that can be linked to as a unique, education ID, which is on the blockchain and makes it easier for anybody to verify your credentials, verify it from your institutions, but also see your educational path and how transparent and secure that is. So the blockchain is providing and changing how we do with traditional systems in education, health, and agri work and bringing new approaches to it, which is great.
So, what are some notable decentralized finance platforms and how are they transforming traditional banking?
In terms of that, I'll go back to we used to have BitMama, which is a very good platform that you sign up and they offer you a digital wallet and also a banking card that you can use to do transactions just like your normal bank account. And so that has been great. If you have cryptocurrencies, all you need to do is load it into the BitMama wallet and then you can spend on the go. Second, I'll go globally. I've also seen used blockchain or cryptocurrency mining pools that help you do investment in a new way. So you can be able to review different projects that having given different yields, then you can invest in them. It's called yield investment. And for me, that also has been great. Then next is for what we call remittance. So we also seen blockchain playing an active role in remittance to remote areas. And this is particularly active in the Asia and Southeast Asia regions, where we're seeing a lot of uptake of blockchain and stakeholders are doing remittance to families through blockchain, which is faster. They get the payments and they can exchange it to traditional currencies or use it to do other transactions on the blockchain.
So, for those who are new to blockchain and digital assets, what are the first steps you would give someone to help them to learn and get involved in this space?
If you are new to it,
and while you're at it, you could maybe add on what skills or knowledge areas that you'd recommend for people looking to build a career in blockchain or DeFi.
Yeah, I'll take some time to explain this. First, if you want to start, is to join the community. So within the blockchain, we have what we call DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, and most blockchain projects have that. So find the right blockchain community, and then you can join that. Here in Ghana, there are a couple of them, and I know Meta is building one for a community. They have an app, but then there's a community where they support newcomers. But first of all, join the community and get to learn about the projects. You can choose one blockchain project, for instance, show so much interest in it, be on their Discord, their Telegram group, their WhatsApp channels, wherever you can find them, just be in there and learn a bit about the project, and then you can start. Here in Ghana, you can take a course with Moblocks. It's an online platform. Again, no interest in them, but they are also offering training courses for Web3 and blockchain. So if you want to start, head over to Moblocks and take some courses, engage with the platform. They also have hackathons, so you can learn and take baby steps through such programs. Then if you have the basics, you need to then go into advanced, and I'll say you can then begin to take up projects on hackathons that are organized every day. Join one of them, participate in it, or you can join a team actually. Once you win, you get the resources. Even if you don't win, you are learning through the process. And so for me, these are some of the steps. But if you are advanced, I would say participate in, join one of the blockchains and apply for a grant. Just think of an idea that you want to implement. The blockchains, most of them give minor grants, support prototyping of ideas. And I think this is something we all can do. If you want a central pool for all these, head over to Dora Hacks, the word Dora and Hack, one word. And they have so many resources, hackathons that you can participate in. And in fact, Papa, let me say, it's not all the hackathons are technical. Some you just actually have to learn. You need to participate and do translation. So if you're a French speaker, you can actually begin to translate blockchain documentation from English to French, English to Spanish. And then by doing so, you learn and you are rewarded. You are paid for doing that because, you know, a lot of the work, the global web is built on English. And so other languages are trying to catch up and also learn. And so if you're bilingual, you don't need to have blockchain skills. Just head over there, do the translation. You get paid, but in the process, you learn as well.
Interesting. Now, for the average person, how does blockchain technology impact their daily life, even if they're not directly involved in cryptocurrency? There's a lot of people who've been like, I'm afraid, I don't want to get into it, I'll lose my money. How does it affect us?
Good point. I think whether you participate or not, blockchain affects you in different ways. One is that it is shaping the global finance and bringing a new approach to it. And so others are taking advantage and building their capabilities. But also that for civic education or civic apps that are built, you're going to interact with them, right? The time is coming when most of the civic apps that you maybe use or government systems will be built on blockchain. And so it is going to indirectly affect you in how you engage with governments, how you engage with businesses. On the negative side, there are also externalities. If somebody's doing phishing, or you may not even be a blockchain user, but then you can be impacted negatively through the bad actors. So one way or the other, you will be impacted. And I will say the best is to learn, actively participate, and understand the basics of it so that you can, as you said, either positively gain from it or guard against the negatives.
How do you see decentralized finance changing the way people manage their finances or invest?
Great. I would say it should change how, or the spectrum of your investment. So now instead of locally, you can begin to say, I can be in Ghana and invest in an interesting portfolio in Kenya, in the US. And so this is where it is getting to, right? You can also even invest in a company that is in Brazil because the blockchain makes it possible. So your options then become broader. You can earn more from participating in the global financial space. Second would be in attracting investment as well. So on the other side, you can also sit in Ghana and build solutions that help you attract resources from the global ecosystem into your business, into your community for projects. Third, I would say, is that it is going to change the way we trade, and to make trade faster and easier across borders. And so trading would become seamless at a point in time. And so you're going to see faster transactions, and it's going to make your life easier with blockchain. I would say it will open up the opportunities for you into the global space. You can then participate in the global economy. You can be in Ghana and through the blockchain, be working with a company that transparently can verify that from Ghana to your digital ID, that transparently can see that you are a legitimate person, and within the ledger can see your credit score and offer you even loans. Right? I need to mention this. There is also the attempt to bring credit scoring or your digital scores for your financial records onto the blockchain. And when that is done, you can even be in Ghana once again and get a financial offer from a company in South Africa because they see your history and they trust in it. So if you're working for a blockchain company, for instance, which is paying you through cryptocurrency and then put on the blockchain, banks or other financial institutions on the blockchain can trust using that data source and offer you financial services that are beyond your imagination.
Now, with NFTs growing in popularity, how might they affect digital ownership and the creative industry in the long term?
I think in the long term, it is going to revolutionize it, and I think it will bring fairness to the weaker ones that are not popular, right? So within the space, the creative space, if you're not at the rank of the Sarkodie or the Shatawale or the Burner Boy, you may not, be able to earn. And even others can take take advantage of you in terms of your digital copyrights. With NFTs, it becomes easier, right? You don't need to be known. You can make a creative art or draw something, put it on a blockchain, and sell it to, you may never know, Bill Gates may decide to buy it. See how it opens doors, right? It connects you from your local corner somewhere to the global person that can buy that NFT. And also, it brings transparency to in terms of digital royalties for independent creatives that are coming up. And so they may at some point in time be able to go around the labels that sometimes take advantage of them. And so that might change and offer them independence and power and how they control their copyrights in the near future.
So, we've gone over the introduction to the blockchain and distributed ledger technology. We've talked about challenges, obstacles, and limitations. We've looked at innovation and emerging developments and trends. We've gotten a certain sense of the future outlook, vision, and long term impact. We've looked at some real life applications and looked at how people can get involved in blockchain. We've also shared, or Blaise has shared, some resources on where you can get more information and how you can get into it and how relevant blockchain is to everyday life today. Thank you so much, Blaise Bayuo, for joining us. Any last words before we wrap up?
Yes, a few of them. I would say that the opportunities for blockchain are great, right? You need to participate in it and take advantage of it. You don't need to be a technical person. Just take the step and be part of the ecosystem, build some networks, and you can gain some rewards out of it. Second, if you are a developer and you want to build a solution in it, this is the time to do so. Take the necessary courses, reach out to the stakeholders that can support you through the various communities and build your solutions. The blockchain actually needs more solutions. And so the more you build, the more use cases we have. And this is what we need. And third, if there's a way that we can all support an advocacy to get authorities to open up the blockchain and support its adoption within our economies, that would also be great. And so cryptocurrencies are great, even though there are the negative aspects. But I would say educate yourself, know the right communities to join and avoid the fraudulent part of it, but take advantage of the good side and build yourself in it.
Thank you very much, Blaise, Mr. Bayou. And it was awesome having you on Texonnect Voices.
Thank you,
Talk
Papa.
soon.
Yes,
And I hope
it
we
was
can
good to
follow
be
up
here.
if people have. I hope we can follow up if there are any questions from any of our watchers.
Yeah, sure. Always available anytime, and my doors are open.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.